to another video. We are doing Chapter 8, Lessons 1 and 2, Circumference and Areas of Circles. Our learning goal is that students will be able to find the circumference and area of circles. Please remember to write down absolutely everything that is typed or written in these videos and pause the video at any time that you need to slow things down. Okay, so copy the circle below and fill in the blanks with one of the following: center, diameter, and radius. You can pause this video to write those in. Center, diameter, and radius. Sorry. So we've got this line, which this is pointing to. That is going to be our diameter. Our radius goes halfway to the middle. And then our middle is called our center. Okay, so name that radius. It's like a talk show. Name that radius. So to find the radius, okay, and you have the diameter, remember diameter is all the way through the circle and radius is just halfway. So if you've got the diameter and you're trying to get the radius, you just need to divide the diameter by 2. So diameter divided by 2 equals the radius. So we have the diameter is 18 divided by 2, and that'll give us our radius, which is 9 inches. So the radius for problem number 1 is 9 inches. For problem number 2, we've got our diameter is 29 meters, and we need to divide that by 2, and that'll give us our radius. And so our radius is 29 divided by 2, which is 14.5 meters. Okay, name that diameter. So we've got our radius, which is 21 feet. Remember, radius is only halfway. To get the whole diameter, you need to multiply the radius by 2. So radius times 2 equals the diameter. So 21 times 2 gives us our diameter, which is 42 feet. Okay, our radius is 13, so 13 times 2 gives us our diameter, which is 26 millimeters. Okay, radius times 2 gives us our diameter. Diameter divided by 2 gives us our radius. Okay, so find the circumference. Okay, so we're using this formula. Memorize these formulas. They're very important. Okay, circumference is equal to pi times diameter. So circumference equals pi times diameter. That's exactly what we're going to put. The circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. In this case, our diameter is 42. So I'm going to first write my formula. Then I'm going to write my substitution step. And then I'm going to put it into my calculator. So the circumference is equal to, you can either use 3.14, which is pi, rounded off, right, times 42, or if you've got a pi button on your calculator, you can use that. I want to say that there is not a button for pi on the calculators that you will use for FSA, so if you want to just get in the habit of writing 3.14 as your pi, that may be more beneficial to you in the end. So 3.14 times 42, and that is 131 and 88 meters. Okay, so our circumference is 131 and 88 meters. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. It says find the circumference. Remember, circumference equals pi times the diameter. Our diameter is 11 inches, so circumference is equal to 3.14 times 11. So 3.14 times 11 is 34 and 54 hundredths. Inches. Okay, let's move on to an area. All right, so our area formula is that the area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. So pi times the radius squared, area is equal to 3.14 times 4.5 is our radius, and squared. Okay, so the important thing to remember about this is when you're dealing with the orders of operations, you have to do exponents before you multiply. So we have to square our radius before we multiply it times 3.14. And remember, squaring it is not multiplying it times 2. It's multiplying it, I'll actually write this one out, 4.5 times 4.5. So 4.5 times 4.5 gives us 20.25. And then we multiply that by 3.14. And when we multiply that by 3.14, we get 63 and 585 thousandths millimeters. Okay, so now we move on to our next problem. Now here is a problem where we have our diameter. For area, we need to multiply pi times the radius squared. So the first thing we need to do is find the radius for this circle. If the diameter is 14, then the radius is half of that, or 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So when we put area equals 3.14 times our radius squared, it's going to be 7 squared, or 7 times 7. Okay, so 7 times 7 is 49, so now we need to multiply 49 times 3.14, and that is going to give us our area. So area is equal to 3.14 times 49, which gives us 153.86. Now, it is often going, for these chapters, they are often going to tell you to round to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredths place. I'm guessing more often than not it's going to be to the tenths place. So if we needed to round this to the tenths place, you would underline the tenths place, which is the place right next to the decimal to the right. Look at the number behind it, and if that number is 5 or higher, you're going to bump this number up 1. So our area would actually be 153 and 9/10 feet if we were rounding it. Let's put about. It would be about 153.9 feet. Okay, so actually, let's do this one. All right, so it says to find the area of the shaded semicircle, okay? So to do that, area is equal to pi times the radius squared. So first we need the radius. The diameter is 16 inches, so that means the radius will be 8. It's half of 16. So area is equal to 3.14 times 8 squared, which is 8 times 8. All right, and so 8 times 8 is 64. And so now we need to multiply 64 times 3.14. So 3.14 times 64, and that gives us 296 hundredths. Now, we are not done. Why, you ask? Because that just gave us the area for the whole circle. We only want the area for half of the circle. So to find the area for just this half of the circle, you would need to then divide your answer by 2 to get the semicircle. So, of course, divide it by 2 and we get 148 hundredths inches. Okay, now if, oh, and this is area, so these need to be squared. Anytime you're doing area, you must square your answer. And I don't think we did that on the other problems. So if we were to round this to the tenths place, remember to underline your tenths place and look back at the number behind it. That 8 is enough to bump that 4 up, so it would be 105 inches squared. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow.